Right, folks. Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. It's as simple as that. You can hear it in the background. We are about to get started with SCi3, the first match of the round of 8. And here we go. The first map for this particular tournament is going to be the Tal'Darim altar. Great map to start with. No real doubt about that as far as I am concerned. Oh no, oh no, oh no. As always, the scoreboard is the wrong way round. Now it is fixed. And hey, presto. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SHOUTcraft Invitational number 3. This is the first matchup of this entire tournament, and it's going to be a long one, folks. I can guarantee it. Best of 5 series for every single matchup in the round of 8, all the way through to the finals, which will be best of 7. I'm TotalBiscuit, and I'm currently solo commentating because Apollo is fixing his car. This is required. He must do this now. He has no other choice, so I will solo commentate until he is ready to kick it off. So, folks, without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to bring to you, representing from the Ukraine, it is the one and the only
TT Esports White Raw.
He is in the yellow trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southeast of the Tal'Darim altar versus his opponent, an equal match. There was no question about that. An incredibly strong Terran player dominating the NASL, an absolutely astonishing player in his own right. I give to you
Immer FXO Strelok.
Ah, yes, and he is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the northwest. Oh, yes. That's cute. People thought that was auto-tune. No. That's called doubler delay, folks. Simple as that. Not everything is auto-tune. All right. Well, let's go and have a look and see what's going on right here. We do have Strelok. He's going to open up nice and standard right here. It's going to be the barracks first on 12 supply, followed by the refinery. Nice classic opening build. No refinery first from him, so perhaps not expecting a little bit of early Hellion harassment against Protoss one way or the other. Speaking of harassment, White Ra finds his opponent almost immediately and is, in fact, tasing him, bro. Not a very pleasant thing to do. Strelok needs to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. Going to go immediately in for a tech lab. Couple of possibilities, potentially. Could be going for this very nice little opening, which involves going for Concussive Shell and then Marauders. Very, very nice against Protoss. Or alternatively, could be going for a Reaper Fast Expand. Not a terrible map to do it on. Admittedly, not an ideal build sometimes against Protoss, simply because of the tendency to get a Stalker out, which locks that down very, very quickly. It is going to be a Marauder opening with the Concussive Shell, as you can see. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good way to nail down any kind of early aggression. Incredibly powerful way to do so. Any kind of scouting probe, for instance, that tries to get in after that will be killed almost immediately. That scouting probe will get out if White Ra decides to do so, but looks like he's going to go around there. He wants to try and check the gas timing. He's not able to do so, and that gas is currently not up right here for Strelok. And any kind of scouting stalker that tries to probe this area right here will be destroyed almost immediately, and there's a possibility for a little bit of, it's almost risk-free aggression with the Marauder and the Concussive Shell. That's the great thing about it. It's such an awesome little combo for early game, simply because it's really hard to catch them. They can get away almost instantly from pretty much anything, and of course they slaughter Stalkers, and that is going to be an expansion. It's going to be a 1 barracks expand, and interestingly enough, immediately moving off of that and going directly into Marines for defensive purposes. And here come the Marauders streaming across the field. We're going to accompany it with an SCV as well by the looks of it, try and perhaps get a little bit of early bunker pressure on White Ra. White Ra will actually, I don't know if he saw that, I don't think he did. It is a possibility, but he's pulling back right here, so I guess maybe he did. And here we go. First engagement as Strelok tries to kite that Zealot, and it wants to bring that Stalker down. Should be able to do that without any problems whatsoever. And now Strelok flanking around and easily dealing with this Zealot. Will he lose the SCV? He will, but he'll easily take the Zealot out. And White Ra actually went with a 1-gate expand right here, which is potentially vulnerable to some kind of Marauder harassment. And that's exactly what's coming his way. He's going to have to get units out double time in order to deal with that. 1 sentry will certainly not be enough. Will Strelok go directly in? Yes, he will. This is a good time for him to do some early damage to White Ra. White Ra with the current supply lead right now. As you can see, he's got more probes, but he doesn't have anything to fight this aggression off with. The thing is, Strelok can't do enough damage to deny the Nexus, so that's really not a huge deal right there for White Ra. He's not too concerned. He's going to follow this up with gateways, and the warp gate research is nearly complete. So his timings are absolutely fantastic. Strelok is well aware of this, and as a direct result, is going to pull back. Command center right here for Strelok, and bunker down in order to defend that. No problems whatsoever. He is not under any real threat and will be able to easily expand economically from here. Slightly behind in terms of SCVs, but he will have mules out any moment now, so that will certainly compensate just a little bit. It's going to be a nice classic 3-gate robo right here from White Ra. Had some good scouting information, give himself all sorts of different tactical options. Now, White Ra as well aware, that's really hard to say, by the way. White Ra, as we are well aware, he is very much the kind of player that loves to go for Warp Prism, so that is something to keep an eye on him for. He is a sneaky little individual. However, Strelok will be ready for that. Strelok has a nice mixture of strategies. He likes to go for tank elevation. He likes to use siege tanks and drops in combination with medevacs and things like that. Now, this is interesting. Is White Ra actually going to take a fast third? Because that is potentially risky for the Protoss. Protoss can be quite vulnerable when spread out over 3 bases like that. And Strelok is keeping an eye on things as well. He's looking to try and spot the timing of that expansion. White Ra will push forward, and will Strelok see that? No, he doesn't see the forces moving out, so he may not be aware exactly of the timing. That is a very fast third, which to me seems incredibly risky against a player like Strelok. And there we go, starport on the way up for him, and drops will no doubt follow this up. There's the reactor to make sure that that is the case, and 2 barracks constantly pumping out, at this point, nothing but Marines. He does have his second gas. He's also taken his third and his fourth. So plenty of medevacs on the way. Also an upgrade heavy strategy. He's just finished +1 weapons right here. And Stim is about to complete. And he's also going to be looking for combat shield any moment now, I would imagine, once Stim is finished. There's the +1 infantry armor as well. So there you go. This is going to be a nasty damaging bioforce in the early game. And this spread out approach that White Ra's gone for this really early grab at the economy could be potentially risky. Twilight Council on the way up, and considering his Zealot count, I would fully expect him to go with Zealot Legs Charge. Also a possibility that he is going for DTs, but right now he's only on 3 gas and he's not mining from this one, so I wouldn't necessarily expect that, especially when he's going to add on some additional gateways right there, 4th, 5th, and there is the 6th as well. So 6 gateway push right here with either Blink Stalker or Charging Zealots. We'll find out one way or the other. If he decides to warp in lots more Stalkers, he may go for Blink Stalker. It's not as expensive an upgrade. We'll find out one way or the other. Tal'Dorei Malta is a really good map for it, because simply this area right here gives you the opportunity to blink into your opponent's base without being seen. Lots of harassment opportunities up the cliff face as well if you happen to have an observer out. White Ra sitting on really nice map control right now, actually using a Stalker right here to deny any kind of Marine hold, and here comes the Warp Prism. Very cool there from White Ra. And are we really surprised by White Ra building a Warp Prism? I would certainly hope not. He's a huge fan of that one. Strelok's going to follow this one up with 5 barracks right now. It's a lot of bio coming out. Potentially extremely dangerous. And right now he has a fairly severe upgrade advantage on his opponent White Ra, who hasn't actually built any upgrades whatsoever. He's going to go with a double forge now to start it. However, Strelok's going to have a nice big timing window whereby he can do a lot of damage with the +1/+1 upgrades. And Zealot Charge is not complete yet. Looks like this attack from Strelok might potentially land before the Zealot Leg Charge upgrade completes, which would be very nice for him. Supported there by a couple of medevacs. Keeping an eye out to see if we're going to see any drops coming in, and right now we're not. Strelok is just rolling across a very heavy MM and M force, and this is interesting. We've got a Templar Archives coming up right here from White Ra as well, obviously smelling a lot of bio. And there's also the potential for Templar drops right here from White Ra, so keep an eye out for that one. Keep an eye out on where that Warp Prism goes. And there's a little bit of damage coming in, and White Ra, unfortunately, now supply blocked, but he's got 3 pylons coming on the way. That shouldn't be too big a deal, and Strelok's going in with a flank right now. However, Zealot Leg Charge has now completed, so it's going to come down to a micro battle. Strelok rapidly micros that force over to the side, and in the meantime, Strelok is able to rip through all of those sentries and stalkers, which is very, very nice indeed. However, White Ra with a good surround right there, nails down a large number of bio units. Strelok is driven away, picks up as many forces as he can. Reinforcements coming in from the side in the form of Marauders, and Strelok now going for a big doom drop right here on the expansion. White Ra does not have enough Stalkers to deny this, and he's actually shooting at the wrong one. There's the drop right into the bank mineral line of the natural, and White Ra needs to deal with this as rapidly as possible. trying to repress it, and he's able to do so. However, here comes Strelok once again, and he's now transferring to the main, and will be able to pick off that pylon relatively quickly, exploiting the lack of anti-air of White Ra at this point in time. And there's a double drop just to distract him right there. Barely anything in it, and a pylon taken, but Strelok has once again been driven away right here by White Ra. So White Ra is holding this together quite nicely. I would love to know what he's going to do with that Warp Prism. Warp Prism has been hanging around there for quite some time, and of course this area very, very vulnerable to some kind of warping. In the meantime, Strelok continuing his trademark aggression. He really likes to pile it on as much as possible. Quick heals on this Bioforce right here. If we have a look at the economic situation, it is currently in favor of White Ra, despite all of the harassment. Lots more Zealots coming in, and a couple of High Templar as well for some feedback action and possibly some Storms. This is going to be a two-pronged attack from Strelok once again, and he does go for the front. White Ra does not have the upgrade advantage right now, and the medevac support will really help. And in comes this flanking assault right here, the drop on the main. White Ra cleaning this up quite nicely. However, he's forced to warp in more and more and more to drive it away. He's even got an Archon in the mix right now. Very sensible idea. Takes a medevac out in the process. And Strelok delaying that drop just a little bit, which might actually be quite crucial. That'll give White Ra perhaps an opportunity to warp in more units. But Strelok going for some serious economic harassment at the moment as he sacrifices many units in order to push his opponent back. And we can have a look at units lost, and we can see what's going on right here. Lots of workers killed already by Strelok. Good harassment coming in, trying to even up the economy. He looks like he's almost managed it. You can see there's only an 8 worker difference between the two. And Strelok continuing to pile on the pressure on White Ra. In the meantime, this Warp Prism has been idle the entire time simply because White Ra is forced to defend. And now the Templar Archive's taking a lot of fire. It will go down, so no more Archons in the mix for the moment. Here comes a charge right now from White Ra. Throwing Strelok back, the supply difference between the two is absolutely massive. White Ra at 70 supply and falling rapidly. 134 right here for Strelok. And White Ra with a bit of a last stand as Strelok is easily able to carve his way through the remaining forces of White Ra. In the meantime, this big drop has cleaned up a ton of probes in the back. And another drop right here to the natural as Strelok attacks from 3 positions at once. Quick pick up and go, and this lack of anti-air really hurting White Ra right now as he's warping in only Zealots and loses the natural Nexus. Strelok playing incredibly well right now as he piles it on. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And the first game in this best of 5 series, it goes to Strelok.